Hello, sweet friends. Okay, we've got to get this new cookware broke in. Y'all know I got my new cookware. I am loving it. I've already cooked some stuff in this skillet, so that's why it looks like that. But tonight we are going to make some dirty rice. Don't that sound good? I've not made this in years, y'all. And I had a written recipe for this. Of course, I couldn't find it. I dug around all in my closet over here. So much junk in there you couldn't find yourself if you needed to. But anyway, so we're going to wing it like we always do anyway. All right, so in my skillet here, y'all, I've already cooked my ground beef. I have it over here, and I cooked some sausage. So that's why it has these little crispy crumbles in here. And then I put in about a tablespoon of butter, okay? So that's where we're at. And now we're going to go ahead and get our vegetables in here, sauteing up. Y'all, I'm loving my cookware so far already. All right, so in this little deal here, I'll tell y'all about it. I thought it was getting too hot. I had some bell pepper, some onion, some celery, and a little bit of jalapeno pepper, okay? So let me scoot you on up here now that I have that out of the way. And we're just going to saute this down. What I do with my spoon? Oh, here it is. We're just going to saute this up a little bit, and then we're going to add our seasons in. I have some beef broth back here. I'm going to bring up to a boil, put our rice in, and that's where we're at. Y'all, I'm loving this though. This is a very deep skillet. As you can see, it's almost like a wok a little bit. It's very deep and big, and my other skillet was just about wore plumb out, y'all. You know, I cook in something like this way more than I use any of my other pots and pans. Do you have a certain, there goes Bella, she jumped down. That little stinker. But do y'all have a certain pot or a skillet or something that you use way more than anything else? Mine is always my deep skillet. Whatever it is that I have at that time, that's just what I cook out of more than anything else. And so I'm loving this one. I love how deep it is. I've already cooked my ground beef in here, and like I said, my few slices of sausage, and so I'm really liking it so far. I had seen Amy, you know, I told y'all that I follow Amy, and this hair, I need to pin it back. It drives me nuts. What was I saying? Oh, I seen where Amy had made some dirty rice, and I thought, that sounds so good. I had everything I needed except for the rice. And so I had to swing by the dollar store to grab some bug spray for my hike today. And I thought, well, I'll just grab some rice in there, and I'll have everything. So that's what I did, y'all. And so that's what we're going to have. Now, mine may not be as authentic as hers. I'm not claiming this is authentic dirty rice. So go ahead and tell everybody, don't come at me, because two things I'm not putting in here is chicken liver and chicken gizzards. I don't put that in anything. I don't cook that. That's two parts of the chicken that I leave alone. All right, but now if you want to, you are welcome to do so. But that's just not something that I fool with. I grew up catfishing with my grandparents, and if you know what I'm talking about, you use chicken liver for catfishing, and that smell done me in during the summer. I don't know that I've ever tasted it, and I don't think I ever will, y'all. Okay, I'm going to let these veggies saute up for just a minute. I'm going to let our broth come to a boil back here. I'm fixing to go get me a pin and pin this hair back, and I'll be back, y'all. Okay, y'all, I forgot to tell you about this. I got to talk about them daggum chicken livers. Okay, so back here in this pot, y'all, I have some beef broth. And I'm going to partly cook the rice before we add it in to our dish here. So in my thing here, I have 1.5 cups of just long grain white rice, okay? Let me get this in here since this is boiling. In my pot here, I have 1.5 cups of beef broth. Let me shake it around. There we go. Because I just want to cook this about halfway. Now, the normal way to cook rice, like a long grain rice, like for example, since I'm doing 1.5 cups, if I wanted to fully cook this, you would do 3 cups of broth water, whatever you're doing. You always do double the amount of the rice that you're doing. But y'all know I don't like my rice overcooked. Like I don't like my pasta to be really overcooked. So the way that I've decided to do this, I'm going to cook it halfway. And so that's why I only did 1.5 cups of broth to my 1.5 cups of rice. I know this, I'm making this sound way more complicated than what it is. Basically, I'm just cooking it halfway, and then I'm just, once all this liquid cooks out, the broth, I will turn it off, leave the lid on it, just let it sit here and hang out, and then we're going to mix it in with all of our other stuff that we're going to put in this pot here, okay? But you can do this so many different ways, y'all. You can toss your rice in here with everything else and just cook it in there. You want to add the proper amount of broth or water. Or you can go ahead and cook your rice all the way and then add it in at the end. Or you can even do minute rice. There's so many different ways you can do it. I've just chose to cook it partially, then finish it off in here. I know, sometimes I get on here and I make things sound way more complicated than they are, but they're really not. Y'all know how to cook rice, so you can do it whichever way you want to do. But I've not had a good dirty rice in a long time. I've not made this recipe in forever. So when I seen that on there that Amy was making, I thought, that sounds so good. I thought, I have all of the stuff, so that's what we're going to go with. And you know, she's such a joy to watch. I love to watch her cook. Now she did put chicken livers in hers. Bless her. I can't do it. I appreciate anybody that can, but I just can't bring myself to do it, y'all. Alright, y'all, I'm just going to let the rice cook, let these veggies are sauteing up really good in our new skillet here, y'all. And I'm going to let these cook a little bit longer, then we're going to add our spices and our meats back in. Okay, y'all, our veggies are cooking up really good. As you can see, they're getting good and soft. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our spices. Okay, let's see. Alright, we're going to do half, I'm going to try to measure all this out for y'all and for myself because I really can't remember. We're winging it. Half a teaspoon of thyme, okay? Let's see. Half a teaspoon, okay? Put that over. Whoop. And we're going to do half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Okay. We're going to do some garlic, which I had a spoon over here. I don't know what I did with it. Let me grab one, y'all. A good amount of garlic, and you can use fresh if you want to. This is a big heaping teaspoon. So I'd say probably about 2 teaspoons of garlic. Okay. And then we're going to do, of course, we got to do Creole with this recipe. So I'm going to do about a good teaspoon of our Creole, y'all. So I'm going to do 2 of these half teaspoons, okay? There's 1, 2. So that makes 1 teaspoon. All right. We're going to do some parsley. We're going to do about a good tablespoon of our parsley. Alright. Now in our rice, I just turned it off back here. Once all that liquid cooked out, I just turned it off, and I'm just going to let it sit there with the lid on it, and it's going to continue to cook until we get ready to put it in here, okay? Alright, let me get my little measuring spoon out here. Wipe this off. We're going to do a good half teaspoon of pepper. Let me wipe this off again. I don't want to get that down in my salt. And then we're going to do about half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then we're going to do some of our W sauce. Quite a bit in here, y'all. Let's see. We're going to try to do a couple tablespoons. So I'm going to try to do, let's see, 1, 2. Alright, so 2 good, generous tablespoons of UW sauce. All right, we're gonna mix all this around, y'all. We've got that garlic in there. Woo, that smells strong. We're gonna let this cook for just a second, and then we're gonna put our broth in here. We're gonna add our meat back in here, and we're just gonna let this sit here and slow simmer for a little bit, and then we're gonna add our rice back in, and that's it, y'all. This is a very delicious dish. I hope this turns out okay, because like I said, I had a very good recipe that I kept for years, and I know I still have it somewhere. And I'm thinking that I've got it all figured out on how I make it. So we will see. All right, let that cook around for just a second. Okay, let's go ahead and add our broth so we can let this be cooking. All right, so I have some beef broth here. We're going to start with 1 cup. We may need to add more. We'll just see once we put our meat back in there. All right, so 1 cup of broth. All right, we're going to start with that. And then I have 1 pound of ground beef here that I've cooked up, drained. And then I have this is 4 slices of just breakfast sausage. This is the Tennessee Pride sausage that I love so much. I just fried the little slices up and cut them up. Now you can do any kind of sausage you want, and if you want to just cook it ground up in your ground beef, that's perfectly fine too, or you can do the smoked sausage. I have some smoked, y'all know I love smoked sausage. I had some in the freezer, but I didn't want to thaw out that whole pack just for this, because I knew I didn't really want to put that much in it. So I didn't get it out. I just did a couple slices of the breakfast sausage. All right, let's go ahead and do another 1/2 cup, y'all. Okay, so 1.5 cups of beef broth. Okay, and normally I would do 2 bay leaves. Y'all can see I only have a few pieces here. I've got to get me another jar because they're broke all to pieces. So if you have it, put 2 bay leaves in there. If you're like me, just put you a few pieces. Okay, we're just going to let this slow simmer, y'all, for a little bit. Our rice is just going to hang out back here with the lid on it. I'm not going to take that lid off. You can see I'm just going to let it sit there and absorb all that good liquid. We're going to put our lid on this. Y'all, I love my new cookware. Have I said that? Anyway, I'm just going to let this cook and hang out, y'all, and then I'll come back and we'll do a little taste test and check all of our seasonings before we add our rice in, and that's all there is to it. And you got a good, delicious, all-in-one pot meal. Okay, y'all, you see how our deliciousness here is just cooking down. It still has a little bit of liquid in here. I have some out here that I'm cooling to do our little taste test, okay? I got it out a second ago, so I would have a minute to let it cool. That is so good, y'all. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to fish out our bay leaves. I'm going to go ahead and get those out. This has just been sitting here simmering. Y'all, I didn't time it. It was really no certain time. Okay, where's the other one? We had 3 pieces. There it is. Okay. So you see how we still have this liquid in here? You don't want liquid in your dirty rice. That's where the rice is going to come in handy. Okay, we've had this just sitting back here partially cooked. And look at it. It's just, you're going to fluff it up. It's not completely done. It's still a little bit firm. And so it is going to soak up the rest of this little bit of flavor or liquid that we have in here, and flavor, of course. So we're going to fluff it up just like this, and then we're just going to toss that in there, and it's going to finish cooking while it takes that liquid at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna get over here, and you want to kind of fold it. You don't want to mix too hard because you don't want mushy rice, remember? So we're going to kind of fold it in. I'm kind of trying to break it up. And it's going to take every bit of that extra liquid that we still have left. This looks and smells amazing. I can't wait for this. I've not made this in so long. I'm so happy to have it tonight. Okay. I mean, it's already soaked up the majority of it. Look at this, y'all. Does that not look good? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the lid on, and I'm gonna leave the burner on for maybe just 2 to 3 minutes. And then what I'm gonna do is just gonna turn it off, and I'm just gonna let it sit here, and that rice is gonna absorb all of that good liquid that we have left, and then we're just gonna have the perfect texture of dirty rice. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, y'all, we are on our last step. This has been just sitting here. I have the burner turned off. It's just been sitting here, getting that rice good and done. One last thing, we're going to toss in some green onions, okay? Just toss them in. All right, and we're not really going to mix. We're just going to kind of fluff it around just like this. That way they're kind of still on the top, but they're getting down in there just like that, okay? So I'm talking about just like that. Now we're going to put the lid back on, and we're going to let it sit for another few minutes, and then that's it, and then it's going to be ready to go. Okay, y'all, let's look at our dirty rice. Let's fluff it around a little bit, just gently. I've just had it sitting here. You can see all that steam coming off of it. It finishes to cook the rice. That's why I choose to do the halfway method, because you have good, fluffy, dirty rice, and the rice is cooked perfectly without being overcooked, okay? All right, so let's get us some out. Smells delicious. Put the lid back on. Let me back y'all up a little bit here. Look at this, y'all. And this is it. This is dinner tonight. Just a bowl of this good, dirty rice. I hope y'all try this. This is an old recipe. Like I said, I couldn't find my recipe, but I think this is pretty close to it. That is really, really good. And y'all, these ingredients are inexpensive. You know, that little bag of rice that I bought earlier at the dollar store was like $1. And then you have your ground beef. You usually have some in the freezer. And then you got your vegetables and your spices that you usually have some vegetables left over from something. And that's all there is to it. It's good. I love this. Y'all tell me, do you put chicken liver in yours? Do you like chicken liver? Goodness. That is just one thing that I'm telling you I'm just against. Now, I'm not against trying a lot of stuff, but I just can't do it. I cannot do chicken liver or gizzard. I don't even know what the gizzard looks like, but I know what the chicken liver looks like. And I can't do it. So good. Now, I know that the liver is good for you. I do know that, and the gizzard probably is too, but I'll just have to find my goodness somewhere else. But anyway, y'all, I'm glad y'all come in here with me to cook this. I was excited to use my new cookware, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.